and welcome to another video on self-tanning. Back in the spring, I did a video on self-tanning. In that video, I pretty much covered the products and tools as well as how I store them. Don't worry, I will link that video down below because it does go along with this one, so you're going to want to make sure you check that one out as well. I talk frequently on Snapchat about the products that I use for self-tanning and some of the application methods, and what that has done is that has generated a lot of questions from you. Your questions inspired me to do another video, kind of a follow-up video talking about the prep work and the application methods. One of the things that I have to say about self-tanning is it takes time. It drives me crazy when people try to tell me that something doesn't take time. I'm here to tell you it does. This is very time consuming. It is not for everybody. You have to create time just like you do for other areas of your life. In order to get a workout in, you have to create time. In order to eat clean and prep your food, you have to create time. Well, self-tanning is no different. It requires time, and it's time that you have to create. Do you have the time? Of course you have the time, because we all have the time to do what's important to us. But I do want to share that with you, because if you are the type of mom or wife or woman that has to get up and be to work by a certain time and you don't have much time in the morning, this is going to be very hard for you. The system that I use is really doable because I work from home most of the time, so I can do a few things here, go do some work, do a few more things, go do some work, and I will talk about that as we talk about the whole routine process. All right, let's jump into the routine step by step. The very first thing I do in the morning is I dry brush. I step into my shower, I don't turn my shower on, I take my dry brush just like this and I dry brush my entire body. There are many benefits to dry brushing even if you are not self-tanning. I have a blog post talking about the benefits of dry brushing, and you can get to that blog post down in the drop down box below. Once the shower is on, then I wash my hair if it's a hair washing day. If not, we would skip that step. Wash my hair, I put conditioner on my hair. Then I wash my body with my normal body wash, and I do have a blog post, what's in my shower body. Those are the products that I use. So I lather up with my soap and my L'Occitane shower gel, wash my body as normal as well as shave. Don't forget that when you are shaving, you are also exfoliating your skin. I also shave my arms. You know I'm a shaving machine. If you watched my YouTube video recently on my face shaving tutorial, you're not going to want to miss it. That's down below. But you also will get a good exfoliation with that. The next thing that I generally do is I wash my face. It's whatever face wash is in the shower, but one that I always have in there is the Philosophy, the Microdelivery Exfoliating Wash. This is a favorite, very gritty, which is like what I like. And I'm going to tell you what, this also works great on the body. It'll definitely exfoliate the body. It has the particles in it that I like for exfoliating. From there, we move on to the exfoliation process. Now, one thing I want to say about exfoliators for the body, I'm not crazy about the gels that you squeeze out. To me, those are almost too soap-like. I want something that is very gritty. That's very important to me. A lot of times the grittier products come in a jar, and I have several that I've used in the past. I will have the ones that I've used that are my favorites linked in the drop-down box below, and you can kind of pick and choose. I kind of like to have a couple going on. I recently picked up the Soap and Glory Flake Away. Really loving this. Comes in a jar, very gritty, exactly what I'd like. There's no soap consistency. Smells really good, very clean, not perfumey, just very clean. This is what it looks like. I don't know how much my camera will pick up, but I like something that you can dip your hands in. If you go to my what's in my shower body, you will see I talk about an exfoliator in there. I think from Tree Hut, very reasonable. You can get it at Walmart. A lot of stores for really reasonable, so you don't have to spend a lot. You can get some of the Olay products that come in the tube, like the big stand-up tube in the body wash aisle. You can check some of those out, but the important thing is you don't want it to have a lot of soap texture. You want it to be a true exfoliant, and what I'm finding out is most of the time they do come in a jar. I also have another one here by Tana, which actually Tana is a self-tanning line. Back when I used to do competitions, I had used this one to prep my skin before getting spray tans for that. So I have repurchased this one a few times, but there are so many. Don't overanalyze it, but I'll definitely link some of my favorites below. Now, when I washed my body, I use something like one of these little scrubbies. I love the Bath & Body Works ones. That's where I got that, and I also have a washcloth in there. But once I start the exfoliating process, I generally like to take the exfoliator and I like to just use my hands. You want to work in a circular motion, really work it in. But there are a few areas that I try to hit a little bit harder. And with those areas, I take a little sponge like this, and I would say there's the areas like your elbows, right here around the wrist. You just want to work that in. You want to do it around your ankles. I also have problems right in this area. I don't know why, with self-tanner building up. I also have it in the underarm area, so this is good for that. Around the ankles, around the knees. You'll know your target spots because you'll know where your self-tanner collects. So this is really a great tool. Another thing, and you can pick these up anywhere. I believe, I probably got this at like a Walmart, I'm sure, and I think it might have came in a 2-pack, so you can get these anywhere. Another thing that is great as well, but I don't feel like, is these gloves. But I don't feel like when you're wearing the exfoliating gloves and you're putting exfoliator on the gloves, I don't feel like the exfoliator works in your body. So again, I like to use my exfoliator with my bare hands, but this would be another thing that you could do to work in those really rough areas. You could put a glove on, or both the gloves on, and work those areas instead of something like this, because this is gonna be very scratchy and gritty, and it's definitely gonna get the job done, so it's definitely another option. I have done this option as well. It's whatever works. I'm always mixing things up, you know me. When I get out of the shower, things get a little tricky. I've used enough of my self-tanning products to know that some things are more finicky than others. So I love to do my AM skincare routine, but I like to also, and I don't self-tan my face when I get out of the shower, but I like to use my self-tanner on my neck and décolleté, obviously, but I also like to use my AM skincare products there. Well, I can't do it with all the products. That's the thing. I already know which ones I can and which ones I can't. So depending on what product I'm going to use for self-tanning that day, that will determine if I am going to do my AM skincare routine on my neck and décolleté. And what I'm about to share here can make a difference from somebody who works like I do, where I can get ready in spurts. I don't have to just get ready and dash out the door, but many of you do, and this is where it's going to be very challenging. So you may not be able to self-tan at all. You may only be able to self-tan once or twice a week. That's okay. Figure out what works for you. For me, I am lucky in that I can do a few things, go do something else. Do something, go do something else. But basically, if I am going to do my AM skincare routine, because I'm using a product that will work with it, I get started on that. The other thing that I do immediately after that is I put on this Egyptian Magic. I have talked about this before in different videos and blog posts. This is what I use to remove my eye makeup. I love this stuff. It is awesome, but there are so many purposes for it. What I do with the Egyptian Magic is I just take a little bit and I hit those same targeted areas where the self-tanner wants to collect. That would be my wrist, my elbows, right in here, under the armpits, my knees, and my ankles. So I just apply a little bit of that. After I get done doing that, I let it sit for a while. Usually I'm off doing something. I do things from starting the laundry to doing some work on the computer for my business, whatever. Go clean up the kitchen. I'm making my bed. I'm always doing things in between because I have that flexibility. Again, you might not. Next, what I do is if I'm going to put some more AM skincare products on, I'll do that. If I'm skipping the AM skincare products because they're not going to work with what I'm using that day, I move on to the self-tanning process. I'm not going to go into all the self-tanning products that I use because I have all of these in that video. And I also have a blog post talking about tips to do with self-tanning. It's probably just going to reiterate a lot of the things that I'm having here, but I have an arsenal and I'm always trying out new, and I cannot wait to share a couple new products with you today. But yeah, I figure out what I'm going to use for that day. Again, like I said in my other video, some are for putting on in the morning and wearing all day long, but other ones you need to wash off after a certain number of hours, and you don't want to be seen in it. So it just depends on what I'm using. If I'm putting one on in the morning and I'm going to go someplace that day like I did today, I know how to choose which product is for that. So here we are. I would have my rubber gloves on because that's how I apply my self tanner, unless I'm putting something like this one on where I sponge it. Again, you'd have to go to the video to hear about this one and what tools I use for it, but there are different application methods for whatever product I use. You'll have to go to that video. I apply my self tanner. I go a little bit lighter handed in the trouble areas, the areas that I talked about, the underarm, the elbow, the wrist. What I tend to do is if I put some self tanner on my arm, I will rub it in just like this, but I will avoid my wrist and my elbows, rubbing it all in. And after I get it all rubbed into my arm, that's when I will lightly swipe the elbows and come up and lightly do the wrist. So you want to be light-handed on your little target areas where it wants to build up and collect. From there, I put on dark, loose clothes. Actually, one of my favorite things to put on is this little black, kind of like a nightie. I know, it probably looks like something really sexy. It's kind of like a little dress, but the only purpose of this is for me to wear after self-tanning. I like it because it's loose. I like it because it's dark. And I mean, eventually I could put like sweats on or something, but for the first hour or two while I'm finishing getting ready, this is generally what I will wear. That is not anything I would spend a lot of money, and I believe I got it at Target. I can look for some and link it below. But generally, you know, nobody is even around to see me, so it kind of works out. And that again is the beauty of working from home. I can just take my time. I get to let everything set up. If it is a morning that I have to be out early, I don't self-tan that morning. I may have self-tanned the night before, who knows? It's all over the fence with me, but that is just a morning that I would take off from the self-tanning routine. That pretty much covers it, but I do want to answer a couple other questions that I definitely want to address. I had somebody ask me, when you are showering and exfoliating, do you exfoliate everything that's on your body as far as the rest of the self-tanning from the previous tan? I really don't, except for on a special occasion, and this is when that would be. Let's say you haven't self-tanned in a while and you can tell your self-tanner is starting to wear off, because I don't care what anybody says, when your tan is wearing off, it always gets that patchy look. That is when I will literally go in and completely scrub off the entire tan and go with a fresh slate. Now, if I am keeping up with my self-tanning routine, I definitely am not going to exfoliate it all off. That would be very difficult to do. And the thing is a lot of the tanners that we use are gradual tanners. Well, the purpose of them is that as you use them, you gradually are going to build up a more deeper and more intense tan. Do you want to still exfoliate every shower? You do, but you don't exfoliate to the point of taking everything off. But it is very important that you are constantly exfoliating. You will definitely get a feel for if you're exfoliating too hard. If you have built up areas, let's say the knees or down by the ankles or on your feet, because I also do a little bit of my feet, just very light-handed, but if I notice a buildup, again, that is when I am going to take one of these two things and I am going to scrub that off, and I'm going to go fresh slate in that area. All right, so if you want to see all the products that I love, because every one I talked about in the video in the spring, I am still constantly repurchasing every single one that I talked about. But I'm a beauty influencer and I love to try new products and I love trying new self-tanners. So I have tried a few and I want to talk about them. If you like instant gratification, you are going to love this next product that I'm going to talk about. A little bit pricey, and it comes in a glass bottle, so that would be the downsides, but there's some really awesome things about this. It's by the Vita Liberata. This is the Self-Tan Dry Oil. This stuff is going to make you savage. And I'm talking instant gratification. As soon as you apply this to your body, you're tropical. I kid you not. It is, out of everything that I use, this is gonna get you the darkest and it is immediate. So love this. The only thing I don't like is really the packaging and how it comes out. They're kind of a pain, but you're not gonna get everything. All that matters is once it's on my skin, I'm in love with it. The other thing that I love about this is it is an SPF 50. How many products are out there that can get your color super dark instantly and has SPF in it? So there is a purpose for this product, and I save it for those days because again, it is a splurge. What I do is if it's going to be a day when I am going to be out in the sun, if we are going to an outdoor party or we go to a baseball game and I'm going to have a lot of sun, but I also want to have a little color, this is what I apply in the morning. I am Savage Tan, and then I also have my SPF 50. So what a powerhouse. Love this. Love it, love it. The other newcomer on the block that I am so obsessed about, and I just recently talked about this in a video a couple weeks ago. I think it was just a video where I was sharing some new products I had picked up. I'll link that video down below as well as in the corresponding blog post. But it's also by Vita Liberata, so it is a little bit pricey again. Body Blur. This stuff rocks. This is makeup for the body. I'm telling you, if you have someplace to go and you are going to wear a cute little dress and you're going to be exposing arms and legs, this stuff rocks. You are going to have the airbrush look. The color is beautiful. It is just the right amount of sheen, not too much. I have it on today. I've been wearing this like crazy. Here's the thing though, and I have not tried it. I was at the grocery store the other day and I saw a product just like this, just about the same size by L'Oreal. Yeah, it was L'Oreal. So check that out. I have not had great luck with L'Oreal self-tanning products. I've tried, I think, everything up until whatever they came out this year, which would be that one. I debated on picking it up, but I never got a chance because I wanted to compare it to this one. But check that out if you're on a budget, but yet you still want something like this. I've used the Sally Hansen legs in the past, and I talked about that in my previous video. And I also have used the Lorac Tantalizer. No more. Those are two things I can just take right out of the gamut. I am so sold on this because this to me is the most natural look, but yet airbrushed, where with the Sally Hansen and the Lorac Tantalizer, I feel like they're a little bit artificial looking, and I don't want that, especially when the sun is hitting you. This one, when the sun is hitting you, beautiful. Well, there you go. I hope that answered all the little nitty-gritty questions that have arose since I did my last video. If you have any questions, suggestions, products you'd like to recommend, please leave them in the drop-down box below. I think a lot of you read that. I know I do, and I take notes on everything because you know I love to try out new products. So please feel free to tell me some that you love. Don't forget, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget that everything in the drop-down box below is on the corresponding blog post, and I always add additional information there. To me, that is where to go if you want more details. And I always link the corresponding blog post down below, so get to it there. Please subscribe if you haven't to both YouTube as well as to my website. Tell your friends about me. Tell your coworkers, your sisters, your aunt, your mom, everybody, your daughters. Tell everybody about me. Let's grow this community. I am loving you guys, and I am so thankful for so much feedback, so much support. You guys are all awesome. You make me so happy. Mwah! Have a great day.